Okay, everybody. Welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're also going to be taking a Facebook Live link right now as well, because many people, they messaged us and they said that they wanted to join, but they couldn't make it. So we're just letting all of you know that's happening right now. So welcome with all my heart. Welcome to those who we've connected with before, and welcome to those who I'm connecting with for the very first time. Thank you so much for letting me know, where are you dialing in from? I'm dialing in from London in United Kingdom. It's very cold. My fingers are very, very cold. I've had to kind of warm them up today. So I'll be doing some exercises on how to warm things up as well in our time together. And I loved how you've been sharing on the group in terms of the reason you've joined this call. Thank you so much for doing that. I really, really appreciate it. So let me get started with what I have to share with all of you today. And let me just get a read from, everyone joining this call. Who here is more like a therapist, a counselor, or in the helping profession? Give me a T in the chat window. And who is here more for like personal reasons or personal development? Go ahead and put a D in the chat window so I can adjust accordingly. Okay, lovely. Lovely. That's great. Perfect. Perfect. Yes, I can see that we're live now as well. That's lovely. Perfect. Welcome to everyone joining. Lovely. So I can see there's some of you who are joining for personal development, and some of you on this call who are joining for professional certification, not professional certification, for professional capacity. So is it okay if I go do the basics so that everyone is on the same page versus get too heavy into the science? Is that all right? Give me a Y in the chat window to let me know we're good. Yeah, thank you for your permission. That's really wonderful. So let me get started with what I have to share with all of you today, because here we are on the Energy Flow Masterclass. How do you go from freeze to flow? But what is this class really about? It's about going beyond the trauma response. You see, the thing is, trauma is going to happen. And we've all experienced trauma. Have we not all experienced trauma? If you lost a loved one, you've experienced trauma. If you've had any kind of grief or loss, you've experienced trauma. If you've had any kind of accident, you've experienced trauma. If a teacher told you to shut up as a little child, by the way, you've experienced trauma. Trauma doesn't have to be the big things. Of course, it's horrifying when the big things happen, like the rape, tsunami, natural disasters. Of course, COVID was a traumatic episode for potentially every single human being. But how someone processes trauma is very different from person to person. And what we're working with here on our call today is the trauma response. Because the response to the trauma is what gets stored in the body. Everyone experiences trauma. There isn't a single human being that doesn't experience trauma. But how it gets stored and your response to it is what creates the challenges. And so that's really the topic of what I want to share with all of you today, is how do you go beyond the trauma response, even in some cases for people after years of therapy. Like in my private practice, I'll have people who come to me, they'll say, I've had 60, 50 years of therapy, but I'm still feeling the trauma response and I don't know what to do about it. And so sometimes what's going on is there's trauma that's got stored in the body, but like, how do you find where the trauma is stored in the body and then clear it? And so I'm going to share a system with all of you to be able to help to do that. Now, who is this for? If, either you or the clients you work with are feeling anxious, or perhaps there's fear there, or there's uncertainty about life and what is happening next, or perhaps there's just desperation of what's going on, or at a crossroads, what do I do next with my life? Or maybe you work professionally as a counselor or as a healer, or perhaps you work in physical fitness and the people you work with, need some additional support. You could even be a yoga teacher, or maybe you're a group trainer. Perhaps you do gym exercises, or you're a clairvoyant and a tarot reader. And, the kind of clients that are coming to you, you're like, I want to offer something more. I want to learn about something more. And honestly, that's where I was all those years ago. Those of you who are meeting me for the first time, I was diagnosed with cancer when I was only 29 years old, and I lived in Florida, United States. I knew nothing about all the techniques I'm sharing with you today. And then I discovered a system of inner child healing. 2 years later, the cancer physically came out of my body. I used to have daily debilitating migraines. That's when I found EFT, and I don't have those daily debilitating migraines anymore. And then I formed Vitality Living College, and I started to do my private client work. And so I was working with inner child work. I was working with emotional freedom techniques, but I noticed with a certain segment of the people I was working with, they got stuck. They got stuck in the loop, and the issue kept coming back again and again and again and again. And there was also some sort of re-traumatization that they were doing to themselves. And so that really sort of sent me on a journey to discover more about the nervous system, about somatic work, about, what is the reason it is hard for people to notice a transformation when they're doing the more kind of traditional therapeutic work. What are some of the blocks that get involved? And so that's when I discovered the kind of work that I'm sharing with all of you today. Whether you want to help yourself or your clients move beyond the fight response, or the freeze response, or the flight response, or perhaps for some people, there's this phantom pain going on, or this inexplicable pain. It's like you've done your blood tests, you've had all your PET scans done, but there's this still like pain in your legs, pain in your body. There's unexplained things going on. And what might be happening is that there's trauma that's got stored in the body. Now, I'm going to share with you, why does trauma, anxiety, and pain persist even with therapy or without therapy? The link between stored trauma and what's going on in the body. I'm going to share with you gentle techniques to release trauma from the nervous system, meridians, and lymphatics on our call today, and how to work with energy flow to help, if you want to get professionally qualified, for example, to help your clients achieve deeper emotional balance and to restore this kind of sense of calm and peace. What are some of the house rules for today? So today's masterclass is about the body. So I want to invite you to come into your body and notice what your body is sharing. I'm not necessarily working directly with the emotions today, but I'm working with the body and the connection you have with your body. Let me do a little temperature check. How connected do you feel to your body today? Give me a 10 on 10 if you feel really connected to your body. Give me a 1 on 10 if you don't have a connection with your body, or somewhere in between. Now, I did not used to have a great connection with my body. And I found I kept putting on weight, 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 until I started to make a connection with my body. What does my body want? What's it trying to communicate? What do I need to do for my body? And things started to shift and change for me as a result. Now, the next house rule is, notice the sensations, the breath, and the small signals as we do the exercises together. Because what I have to share with you is about mindful practices, mindful movement, practices and movement that you can also do on a daily basis to help with your health, your vitality, and your wellness. Now, it's a structured learning place. I'm not doing coaching and therapy in our time together. And I really appreciate your presence and your participation, and even in simple or even in quiet ways. There's no quick fix, just soften and allow. In fact, I love it when you have your videos on, because I get to connect with you directly. And we're only going to be together for up to 2 hours, where there'll be time for you to ask me your questions in our time together, for you to do shares. It just allows me to feel into your energy And you're welcome to ask me questions at any time. I'll have a session just on answering your questions. And when I get there, you're welcome to come forward and share either a case of someone you've worked with and where you might be struggling, if you need help with it, or perhaps in your own case, if you've tried different things and something hasn't worked. I'm really happy to take your questions and for me to answer them, as we come to the end of our time together. Now, a couple of housekeeping. Treat it like a live in-person seminar. It's better not to do lots of phone and texting during, because you'll miss out on the benefits. Sometimes tears do come up. Sometimes, emotions do arise, even as we do more somatic work. So if you need some tissues, good internet, you might need pen and paper handy in case you want to take notes. I've already talked about the video. And if you are going to be touching parts of your face and your upper body, just make sure you have your hands washed. That's part of the COVID protocol. So let's get started with a little quiz. This is known as a freeze to flow quiz. In a moment, I'm going to flash up a set of questions. And I'm going to ask you to mark for yourself yes or no. If it's yes, give it a number 1. If it's a no, give it a number 0. Okay. And if it's in between, you can do a 0.5, and then you can add it up for yourself and you work out where are you in this continuum of freeze to flow. Now, what do I mean by freeze? Freeze refers to the trauma response where someone freezes. Freeze response to the shutdown that happens. Now, it doesn't mean if there's freeze that's happening, you still can't get angry. You still can't run away. Of course you can. These trauma responses are also possible, but I'm referring to the stuckness that also happens, which keeps trauma stuck in place, which keeps anxiety stuck in place, which keeps pain stuck in place. So let me go through these questions one by one so that you can mark it for yourself. First is you have headaches and body tension or digestive issues that worsen during stress. So you have these already, but what I'm trying to share with you is that they worsen during stress. The reason I've written that specifically is the kind of work that I'm sharing with you is connected to your stress levels. If there is stress there, then the kind of work I'm sharing with you can give you relief. But say if you've got a digestive problem because there's something medically going on, then please, you need to go see your medical doctor. Does that make sense? Because I don't know if that has a stress root cause. So I'm specifically asking you around stress. That having said, 85% of illness, by the way, is stress related. 85% of illness, where it has an underpinning root cause in stress. 90% of doctor visits are stress related as well, by the way. And, rates of divorce, rates of obesity, these are all connected with stress levels. The next question is, memories or emotions related to past trauma occasionally take over. Let me explain a little bit more what I mean by it. It's like, you're just kind of, for example, staring out the window, having a cup of something, and suddenly the overthinking, this happened, and this happened, and why did this happen, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And so there's this sort of playing of these old memories and emotions where they can take over. 3 is certain sounds, places, or smells trigger strong feelings of distress. Next one is feeling unsafe or finding it hard to trust in relationships or situations. Next is feeling disconnected or experiencing emotional numbness. Now, I appreciate not all is going to be relevant for everyone. Ongoing pain or fatigue, such as muscle tightness or back discomfort. Now, why have I put back discomfort? Back discomfort can be for so many different reasons. One is, you've got your kidneys in your lower back, by the way. And sometimes it can just be the kidneys are in fatigue. The kidneys are in tiredness, and that's what's causing the back pain. The second reason I asked for example, lower back pain, for the women on the call, if you are still menstruating, it's going to show up in your lower back pain during ovulation, the 15th day of your monthly cycle. It will hurt. And just before your period, it is going to hurt. But the other thing is, Have you ever heard the phrase, I broke my back? And when you feel broken, guess where it gets stored? In your back. You've probably heard the phrase, I broke the camel's back as well. And so that's one of the reasons I like to sort of ask these questions, because what's going on with the body is so telling. It's like your body is giving you messages about what's going on based on where you experience the pain or the discomfort. Now, the next is finding it hard. Oh, sorry, 7. Stress quickly triggers a fight flight response, such as a racing heart. And I remember, I was speaking to one of my clients, and he said to me, I wake up in the morning and I have pain in my chest. He was not going through a heart attack, and he didn't have digestive or gas issues. I have pain in my chest and I have a racing heart. And in their past, they had had experiences where authority, people in positions of authority, had been very rough with them. And so when they woke up in the morning, the trauma response was, who is the authority right now that's going to come and discipline me? And they had this thought as a primary question that accelerated the heart rate and caused these chest pains. So the trauma response can be in place for so many different reasons based on what's happened. 8, find it hard to slow down, practice self-care, or take time to relax. I know I've been responsible for this in the past, and I don't know who this relates to in the call. You want to do self-care. How many of you know what I'm talking about? But you don't do self-care. You think about doing self-care, you dream about doing self-care, you even open the journal on January 1 and write down the self-care routine you're going to do. You get halfway through the first sentence and you don't even finish, and the book remains, and you go into this frozen, like numb state saying, I want to do self-care, I want to do self-care, I want to do self-care. And it's like you hypnotize yourself to stare out the window instead. By the way, staring out the window is also self-care, so don't worry about it. Now, number 9 is feeling stuck in past experiences and you replay them in the mind. 10 is finding it hard to relax or feel present or stay connected to the body. 11 is you kind of keep trying to turn to body-based practices to self-soothe or to help you, like mindfulness, yoga, Tai Chi for support. 12 is you feel constantly on edge or overly alert. Now get this, even in safe situations. Even in safe situations. If this is you, number 12, that says to me cortisol is elevated. The adrenals are really heavily impacted. If this is you, give me an S for spleen. I'll make sure I cover some of the spleen exercises today that help with the adrenals and the adrenal gland. Go ahead and add up. So we've done the quiz. This is 12 possible points. Add up where you're at so you can get an idea. Are you on the higher range? Are you on the lower range or medium range? I don't necessarily want you to put the numbers in the comments section or in the chat window because it's private to you, but you can just let me know higher range with H, lower range with L, or M with a medium range. And if you don't want to answer, you don't have to answer. You can keep it private and confidential. That's absolutely fine. This is just giving you an idea as to where you are at and what's going on with your body. So let me teach you how to move beyond fight, flight, and fight to break the cycle of anxiety, pain, and trauma, to regulate, release, rewire, and reset. And this is a 4-pillar system I'm going to be sharing with all of you. Now, why does trauma, anxiety, and pain actually persist? What keeps it stuck, and what keeps you or the people you work with looping again and again and again? The issue is the body remembers what the mind resolves. So many times when I'm working professionally with people, they'll say to me, oh, but that memory doesn't bother me anymore. I've got a t-shirt. I mean, I've had years of therapy on that. But what do you mean that? I'm not even bothered about it. It was some thing that happened in the past and it was just a minor thing. So your mind has moved on. You've processed it cognitively, but the body has held on to the stored emotion. And so there has to be a process of connecting with the body, letting the body know, I am safe now. Why is the body doing this? It's doing it because you asked the body at some level to protect you. For example, maybe there's a memory when you felt really alone and lonely. You probably asked yourself or your body or the universe for you not to experience the pain, by the way. So what did the body do? Like a good follower, it got your emotion, it put it in a metaphorical box and it stored it somewhere in your body. And if it stored it in your liver, digestive issues. If it stored it in your gut, irritable bowel syndrome. If it stored it in your heart, blood pressure. If it stored it in your kidneys, urinary tract infection. We don't always know where it gets stored. Now, the next is, trauma doesn't just live in the mind. It gets imprinted in the body. And it's like, think about it like a scar. So if you fall down and you hurt your knee, what's going to happen the next day? Probably the blood clot will happen and, will no longer be bleeding. What will happen 2 days after? There'll be some repair happening. What will happen 3 days after? Maybe it will start itching. Now, if it's a big cut, what gets left behind? A scar. Think about the trauma imprint like a scar. Now, many times in life, things can happen. You can have an argument with a family member, but there is no scar because it's like when you fell down and just grazed your knee. But sometimes if you have something bigger happen, like an accident, the chance of it leaving a scar is a lot higher. And so that's what the trauma imprint is. It's like an emotional memory scar that gets left behind. Now, the nervous system remembers what the mind has forgotten, and the body continues to carry what the mind has not fully healed. Now, why am I sharing this with you? You see, this is a mistake people make. They come across the kind of work that I also teach people, like inner child work, EFT, or they come across somatic practices and they launch in and they start to do the work. But the problem is, if you start to do the deep trauma release work and you've not checked the nervous system, 3 things can happen. 1 is you go into overwhelm. 2 is more than you want starts coming out and you can't control it. 3 is you feel temporarily better, but you don't feel better long term. And so if you're not focused on the nervous system first and regulating, no matter how much deep work you're doing with the trauma release, you may find that you're going nowhere. Now, of course, this is not relevant for everyone. I'm sharing when you get stuck with it and you're in a loop. Of course, some people do not get stuck with it and they are not in a loop. Now, let me go into a little bit more detail about it. So, inability to fully discharge stress. When the body's fight, flight, or freeze response isn't completed, the stress stays active in the system. This is when you get the constant alertness or anxiety, the ongoing muscle tension, pain, or fatigue, or feeling stuck in survival mode. The second is if there's a disconnection between the mind and the body. Insight and understanding may be present, but the body hasn't fully settled. This is when you get repeated triggering despite awareness or feeling on edge, even in safe moments, where the nervous system stays in reactive mode. 3 is if there's unresolved trauma, that trauma that isn't released physically can remain held in the system. This can result in emotional reactions that feel out of proportion, sensations or memories resurfacing, and the body reacting before the mind can catch up. The fourth is stuck emotional patterns. Without releasing stuck emotions, the system starts to revisit the old experiences, and it can feel like being pulled back into the past, difficulty moving forward despite effort, and feeling trapped in familiar emotional loops. Is this making sense to you? If it's making sense to you, just sort of type 100 in the chat or the comments window so that I can just gauge that we are on the same page. And if any of this relates to you, you can even write that for me in the chat window, and I will go ahead and have a read of it. Now, the truth is, stress will always be there. Stress will always be there. You know, that's the truth. You know, it's like I was having a conversation yesterday with a colleague that I'm in partnership with at a corporate level. And I was sharing with her, you know, corporate leaders will never reach a place where suddenly stress disappears. It was COVID 4 years ago. It's tariffs right now, and this is causing a lot of instability in the corporate environment. Then it's artificial intelligence. So the environment is constantly changing. This is not going to change. We're not going to be in a world where suddenly it's like, there's no diseases, there's no illness, there's no artificial intelligence, there's no tariffs, there's no political issues, there's no nuclear threats. This is life. This is life. Our role is to be able to build the window of tolerance. The inability to process stress effectively can cause a lot of harm. And so some of the exercises I'm going to share with you today is how can you actually increase your window of tolerance. Now, if your window of tolerance is on the higher level, this is when you get hyper arousal. This is when you get the volcanic eruptions, the anger, the irritation. It's like outward. It's like I can't cope. I'm overwhelmed. And it goes, and it just comes out over everybody. I was speaking to this elderly, uncle, and I said to him, "What do you do when you're stressed?" And he said, "I stress other people out." And I thought, oh my God, that's so true. It's like if I'm feeling angry on the inside, guess what I do with my anger? Blah. Like all over somebody else, especially if I love them, okay? Now, on the other extreme, you can have something known as hypoarousal. This is the realm of the freeze response. This is the realm of the shutdown, where I can't cope. I'm not able to outwardly direct and fight, but instead I withdraw, I freeze, and I retreat into myself. And so some of the exercises I'm sharing with you help to kind of increase this window of tolerance where you're able to have more emotional resilience, but also nervous system resilience, by the way. Nervous system resilience, because just like people go to the gym to build muscles, guess what? You have to be able to engage in a daily practice to train the nervous system. You have to train the nervous system. You know, sitting is just as deadly these days as smoking, by the way. But when you sit for so long, guess what your fascia does? Fascia is the connective tissue underneath the skin. It forms a nice mold of your ass in a seated position. And then you get what? Back pain, leg pain, hip pain. Because you've not taken the time to move the body and allow the body to move itself. If you don't move it, it forms what's known as a fascia bucket. And it forms a bucket on your bottom and your thighs and your hips because it doesn't know any better. And so similarly, you have to train the nervous system and you have to do the exercises on a regular basis so that it doesn't fall into a habit of a small window of tolerance, but the window of tolerance is a lot bigger. So I'm going to share with all of you these 4 different steps or pillars. One is how to regulate the nervous system. Second is how to release stored trauma. And there's A lot of detailed teaching, I'm going to go into stored trauma because there's a system that you need to follow. Today. Third is to rewire with the meridians or energy channels. And fourth is to reset the body-mind communication. Now, those of you meeting me for the first time, I was diagnosed with cancer at a very young age, 20, I think it was 24 or 29, when I lived in Florida. I had chronic pain and I also had a reproductive illness. I've self-healed with alternate therapy. I've healed my daily migraines and pain with EFT tapping. I overcame my thyroid with inner child healing, quit my day job, formed Vitality Living College, and I've trained close to 43,000 people worldwide. Now, the cancer came out of my body using the kind of work that I'm sharing with you. And since I've been using more of a somatic body-based process to really kind of ease off and go beyond the trauma. If anyone wants to know how I did some of these things, you're welcome to let me know in the chat window. When it comes to question time, I'm really comfortable sharing with you. So who are we? Vitality Living College. Our vision is to have a practitioner or coach in every educated household and to transform lives through emotional well-being, personal development, spiritual growth, and certification training. We have trained not only 43,000 people, but have facilitated 625 seminars with representation from 45 countries. If you want to connect with us on our social media accounts, we will put them right now in the Zoom chat window so you can do that. We offer certification in EFT, in inner child, in something known as trauma reverse, in energy flow, in coaching, hypnotherapy, NLP, NLP practitioner, and something known as timeline technology. I am not in the business of giving someone a certificate that they can pay for. I'm in the business of having outstanding coaches, therapists, and practitioners, which means we train, but we also mentor and we support people to be successful with their professional paying clients. That's what I'm about. Okay. So let me get into the 4 pillars right now, and I'll begin with the first one, which is regulate. And the system that I like to use to regulate is known as energy flow, where it regulates the nervous system, it releases stored trauma held in the body, it helps to break the cycle of anxiety and pain, to alleviate the trauma response and emotional exhaustion, as well as scientifically lower cortisol and free trapped emotions. Now, one of the areas of energy flow that we kind of focus on is something known as the vagus nerve. And this is a metaphorical picture of the vagus nerve over here. It's the longest cranial nerve in the body. And this nerve has the ability to activate the body's relaxation response and help regulate stress. So I'll be going through exercises to actually help do something known as vagal toning. How many of you have heard of the vagus nerve before? Give me a V in the chat window. And how many of you are hearing it for the first time? Give me an F in the chat window. Okay. Thank you for your honesty. That's lovely. Now with energy flow, so through the vagus nerve, we're doing something known as vagal toning, and we're using intentional breathing, mindful body movements, cold exposure if relevant. I want to talk about cold exposure. So cold exposure is really popular right now, have an ice bath, but did you know if you don't do it properly, it can be detrimental? Did you know that for some people it's contraindicated, which means they should not be doing cold baths? They should not be doing cold water immersion. But there's a specific, it's like it's a trend, so everyone's doing it, but it can cause too much cold exposure, lower back. Do you know that harms your kidneys? And so cold exposure is brilliant, but it's about knowing when to use it, how to use it, and what to use it for. And you begin small. You don't begin by dunking yourself in a cold bath. You begin with your hands, you begin with your feet. So cold exposure. So I go like I have a whole teaching that I do around it, around the science. And then the value of laughing and how to get the body and the mind connecting. It also has meridian system regulation, where there are exercises like meridian tracing, meridian cleansing, quick flows or therapeutic flows for specific things like polycystic ovarian disease, for thyroid, for urinary infection, for liver challenges. And there's specific sequences with the meridians. Then it's got emotional regulation, working with anger, fear, sadness, too much effort, for example, despondency, grief, stress, anxiety, and worry. There's also exercises around regulating the trauma response, exercises where you are held, jaw release exercises, shaking exercises, butterfly tapping, and eye movements. The reason we have eye movements as part of energy flows, you have your left brain and your right brain. And sometimes when the trauma is stuck in the body, you need to engage your left and your right brain. You need to engage your logical side. You need to engage your creative side as well. In fact, let me share a very simple exercise with all of you right now, which is fabulous for overthinking. And it engages your right and your left brain, and it engages your eyes. Little health warning when you do this exercise with me. Initially, it can make your eyes kind of feel, ooh, what's going on? The way the exercise works is you hold your finger out in front of you and you look at the tip of the nail. And then you move your eye across as you move the finger in a line. And this time you move the finger down diagonally. You move your eyes diagonally across, diagonally down, across, and then reverse. And let's do it again. And reverse. Lovely, well done. How many of you who did that exercise didn't have a thought? You were just focused on the exercise. Yeah, because you're so focused on moving and engaging the left and the right. And what this actually does is it relaxes your prefrontal cortex. So if I give you a metaphorical brain, model using my hand. So if this is the brain, the hand, and this is the stem, on top of the brain is something known as the cortex. And there's the prefrontal cortex, which is at the start. And when you're in fight, flight, and freeze, this part flips its lid and does that. And this exercise, what it allows you to do is the prefrontal cortex goes, there's also exercises to drain, pull, to breathe into pain, to pinch pain, stretch pain, to gain relief from pain. There's also exercises for immune boosting and general wellness, for hormonal regulation, especially mood swings, fatigue, weight changes, insomnia, and hormonal balances. Then, of course, for lymphatic regulation, from massaging, squeezing, to draining the pain. And I'm going to do some lymphatic exercises with all of us together. So energy flow can have an impact on the throat, the lungs, the heart, the stomach, the liver, the spleen, the pancreas, the kidneys, and the small and the large intestine. As well as there's documented evidence, especially with the vagus toning, around soothing chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, depression, anxiety, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, heart disease, diabetes, migraine and cluster headaches, PTSD, autoimmune, obesity, cancer, ADHD, chronic inflammatory states, and leaky gut. Now, some of the exercises I'm going to share with you are simple exercises, and you'll be familiar with some of these exercises. But what's important is I'm sharing the exercises with you in a system and a flow. When you follow that system and flow, that's when it starts to have an impact on your body, mind, and your nervous system. So let me get started with the first, which is regulate the nervous system. Now, What is the nervous system? The nervous system starts with the brain, goes down the spinal column, and there's the peripheral nervous system. There's three parts to it, which I will show you in a minute. It's like the body's communication network. It sends messages between the brain, spinal cord, and the rest of the body. And these messages help control everything we do, from moving, feeling, to thinking and reacting. There's the brain, the spinal column, and the nerves. Now, the nerves going down the spinal column have two parts. One is known as the parasympathetic, the other is known as the sympathetic. The parasympathetic is responsible for rest and digest. This is when you are relaxed. This is when you are feeling calm. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is great to activate the fight, flight, freeze response, because sometimes you need to activate those responses. Sometimes you need to get into action. Sometimes you need to walk fast. If you're in procrastination, by the way, you need to activate the sympathetic nervous system. Not more resting and calm and couch sleeping. This will just keep you more resting, calm, and couch sleeping. I'll share some exercises in a minute. So there's something known as nervous system dysregulation that can happen, and I'll do the regulation exercise with all of you. If the nervous system is dysregulated, it's responsible for sleep issues, anxiety, fatigue, racing heart, dizziness, unexplained body pains, digestive issues, and difficulty focusing. Now, I'm going to do some exercises that I really want to invite you to do together with me. The first is a really simple one. Place the hand here in the heart space, okay? And you can put both as well, that's fine. Whatever feels comfortable and easy for you. You can have one, over. What's important is you choose what feels right for you. And we're going to do a very simple breathing exercise, which is breathing in for 6 counts through the nose and breathing out for 6 counts through the nose. Now, initially, I want to do nose breathing because nose breathing increases nitric oxide in the body, which allows calmness. We'll also do mouth breathing in a moment, but first we're going to begin with nose breathing. So go ahead and breathe in for 6 counts, in through the nose and out through the nose, gently. Now, what's important is to do it gently at your own pace and rhythm. There's nothing to get right. There's nothing to even fix. Just your own pace and rhythm, 6 in and 6 out. Now this time, breathe in for 6 counts from the nose and out for 6 counts from the mouth. What we're going to do next is we're going to clean the lymph. The out mouth breathing helps to clean the lymph system. The lymph is like a pathway that's in your whole body, but it can get very, very stagnant. It's got white fluid in it, and it's really important for immunity. So keep the hand here. This time, breathe in for 6 from the nose and out for 6 from the mouth. Very good. The next that we're going to do is over here in between the little finger and the ring finger. there's like a line in between the web, okay? Now, over here, there's a meridian that goes through this part, and it's known as the triple warmer meridian. It's a meridian that helps to relieve any kind of trauma response that's got stored in the body. And what I want to invite you to do is just to hold it here very gently. Meridians are very subtle channels. Just hold it gently. Place the hand back on the heart space. And this time we're going to repeat the breathing, but in for 6, out for 6 from the nose first, and then the mouth. And so what we're doing together, we're doing lots of things here. We're holding the heart space. This is known as polarity, where you're making a connection between the body and the breath. You're letting your body know, you are safe now. I am here. I got you. The second thing what they're doing is we're using the breath to relax the nervous system. The third thing we're doing is using the breath to balance the limb. The fourth thing that we're doing is holding the trauma release meridian points. In case there's any trauma there that's present right now, it can just find its way out of your system. So just hold it gently and take a gentle breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And this time out through the mouth. Lovely. Well done. Check in with yourself now. How are you feeling? Are you feeling calmer than before? Give me a C in the chat window. Are you feeling more stressed than before? Give me an S in the chat window. If you're feeling calmer than before, that means you've made a connection with your parasympathetic nervous system. And you've brought your body into what's known as rest and digest. Now, if you're in procrastination, for example, we don't want more rest and digest to begin with. We need to stimulate first. And one of the ways you stimulate is known as the double breath exhale. So let me explain how you do it. So you breathe in really fast and out through the mouth. Breathe in really fast. How many of you feeling there's energy moving here in your sinuses, here? You're feeling some tingling going on. Some of you will feel like, oh, this is moving stuff. So if it's too much for you and you're getting dizzy, go slower. Third is, if you are in hyper anxiety or hyper overwhelm, this is a really great nervous system regulation exercise that's very calming and soothing.
Ma'am, you're not audible. Ma'am, we can't. They can't hear.
They can't hear me. I'll be back soon. Am I back now? I'm back. There was a internet dysregulation. Okay. Let me go through it again. Breathe in through the nose and long exhale out through the mouth where you can purse the lips like a straw. Did you feel calmer doing that? Huh? Long exhale breath makes you feel calm like this. Long exhale breath. The double breath exhalation is not to calm anxiety. I would recommend the long exhale breath for anxiety. The double exhale breath is for procrastination. Procrastination, stuckness, inertia, not moving, not getting the body moving. For depression as well, by the way. Because with depression, what's happened is it's like, oh, it's gone into such a relaxed state that you need to start getting energy moving. And many times if you go to your therapist, they'll go, exercise. But when you're depressed, do you want to exercise? Sometimes it's the last thing you want to do is exercise. So you can do the double exhale breath instead. This is to get energy moving, and the long exhale breath is for relaxation. Let me share some cases of our students who have experienced energy flow and what their feedback is. And I can see Lou is also on this call as well. So better clarity, better sleep, clarity, and face the past. So Lou is an energy flow practitioner, and she's been using it in her private practice. She's a very busy counselor and therapist, and soon to be EFT practitioner, where it's kind of helped to regulate the nervous system and support clients in reconnecting with their mind and their body, to release blocked energy, feel safe, and experience better sleep and clarity. Now, I want to talk about sleep for a moment. Sleep has so many benefits. Does anyone know what the benefits are? You can write them in the chat window for me. Sleep helps with weight balance. Sleep helps with nervous system. Sleep helps with digestive health. Ideally, you're getting 8 to 9 hours a day. How many hours do you sleep currently? Please let me know in the chat window. It repairs itself. The liver also repairs itself. Now, if you're feeling like you're oversleeping, you'll have to connect with yourself and ask yourself the question, am I oversleeping? And ask yourself the question, what's the reason I might be oversleeping? And checking with yourself if it's emotional or it's your body saying, we need to sleep right now. Many times when I work with those who've been diagnosed with cancer, by the way, and we do the nervous system regulation, they can sometimes sleep for 12 to 15 hours a day. They're not oversleeping, by the way. Their body is healing and repairing itself. And also when they're sleeping, they're not overthinking. In fact, a great exercise, if you know someone that might be going through it, which works with the meridians and also helps for sort of something known as completion, is the hands under the armpit and just hold it. And just hold it. In Japanese medicine, there's a point here known as the 26. And you just, and just hold under the armpit and just hold it and breathe. This is good for completion. Now, if you want to stick the thumbs out, you can, because you've got something known as the neuro-reflex points here, but you can also keep the thumbs under the armpit as well. If you're feeling cold and your fingers are cold, this is also very good. And just gently breathe in and out. This is an exercise for completion. So if you're someone that opens up a lot of projects but doesn't finish them, this is very, very good for completion. You can do it when you go to bed at night and you're sleeping and you're lying down. You can do it then. You can do it when you wake up in the morning. You can do it when you're going out for a cup of coffee or a cup of tea with a friend. Also, you could just sit there with your arms crossed across. They might think you've got defensive body language, but what they don't know is you're harmonizing your lymphatics. You're opening up to completion and completing things. This is very good for anyone who has breast cancer as well, because you've got the breast tissue around this area. You've also got the lymphatics around this area. It also connects with your adrenals and your spleen as well. This is very good if you're feeling tired and fatigued, tiredness and fatigue. It's also connecting with your lungs. It's also connecting with your pericardium, which is what surrounds your heart. and it also connects with your heart. It's a very, very powerful, this hold. Under the armpit hold, by the way, for those who want the technical term, pit hold. It's like you're having a pit stop and you're like, oh, I need to rest, I need to recharge, I need to rejuvenate. Okay. And you can keep holding as I'm teaching, and I'll share more exercises with you as well. This is Sonal Kamchandani, and she found relief from her sinusitis within half an hour. She used to get terrible sinusitis, and we did something known as the hair combing, forehead pulling, which I'll show you today, and ear flush exercises, and she found a noticeable difference. Now, what I want to share with you, though, for her, those are the exercises she needed. She needed the hair combing exercise and the forehead pulling exercises for sinusitis. But this doesn't work for everyone. Some people need the exercises around the eyebrows instead, because that's where their sinus issue is being held. So for different people, it's different exercises. It's not all the same exercises. Step 2 is to release stored trauma safely. And I want to share a little bit about my experience. I've been doing this work since 2008. Someone can work out how many years that is. I guess it's 2025 now. It's been many, many years since I've been doing this, is what I can say to you. And I feel when I first started on my journey, I worked very directly with trauma. Now, of course, my clients got benefits. It's not that they didn't get benefits, they did. But I noticed some clients were looping. And so what I realized, I cannot begin with a trauma release first. You almost get this as well. You cannot begin with a trauma release first. You must begin with the nervous system regulation first. Some of the breathing exercises I just shared with you. And I mean, I have over 50 breathing exercises that I teach. So one of them is called the resonant sound. Let me share it with all of you. You can do it with me. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth with a sh sound. Now, the reason we do this is a couple of reasons. So the sh sound is toning your vagal nerve, which is based here as well. The second reason for the sh sound is like waves washing over me. The third reason for the sound, it's from childhood. Did anyone ever tell you, shh, it's okay, my child, shh. You are letting the nervous system know they're there, it's okay. Now, some people think it sounds like urinating, but it's not supposed to, okay? It's supposed to be soothing. Well, I mean, that's soothing. Anyway, chalo, let's not get into the details. Too much information right now, Rangana, move on. So with releasing stored trauma, the next place after nervous system regulation that you need to go is emotional regulation first, before doing some of the trauma release exercises. I mean, I teach trauma release exercising like circular breathing, shaking, being held. But if it's done too soon, it can create this massive reaction, which is very unpleasant. But where we're going to begin today is with emotional regulation. And let me explain a little bit, and then we'll do the exercises together. So what is emotional regulation? A process of consciously managing emotions, connect with physical sensations, with emotions like worry, fear, anger, or sadness. It promotes emotional flow, eases built-up tension through physical and breathing practices, and it empowers individuals to address emotional imbalances and restore calm and control. What are some of the benefits for emotional balance and resilience? Ability to manage stress, fear, and anxiety, encourages a sense of calm and control, improves self-awareness and understanding of emotional triggers. It supports physical relaxation by releasing emotional tension. It boosts mental clarity and focus for better decision making. It strengthens emotional well-being and overall vitality, and it cultivates healthier communication and stronger relationships. So let me share some exercises with all of us together. And the exercises I want to share with you right now is for worry. So what you do is find your thumb and just shake it so know you've got a thumb. Put it behind your ear over here. Have your fingers at the start of the scalp, and you're going to comb through your hair. This is known as hair combing. Do you breathe in? Comb through and breathe out. Fantastic. That's great. Amazing. Yes, I don't know why it's called hair combing, because it messes the hair up for sure. Breathe in and out. It should be called the hair anti-combing. And let's do it one more time. So this harmonizes any kind of worry, because worry as an emotion gets stuck over here, gets stored over here, okay? And out. Now, a couple of reasons scientifically why this is powerful. You've also got something known as the bladder meridian over here. And the bladder meridian goes up and then down. And so if there's water retention there, I don't know how many of you have water retention. You can just nod with your head like that if you're doing the points with me. It's connected to your bladder meridian, which begins here. And so this hair combing activity, and it goes here, and then it goes down the scalp, and then it goes down the body. And so by combing through the bladder meridian, which is going, right here, what you're doing is you're also helping the bladder that might be holding on to water weight or emotional water to kind of relieve itself. The other meridian, you have something known as a governing meridian that comes down and comes down to this point over here under the nose, okay? And the governing meridian, its name, governing, it's the governor, which means it's governing all your organs. In fact, a really nice quickie is just massage here. If you really want to massage it, it's on your gums, by the way. It's actually on your gums. That's exactly where the point is. But if you don't want to directly touch your mouth, you can do it on top here. Some of you will feel your sinuses start to drain and clear as you do this. This is a full body tonic, by the way, a full body tonic. Now, the other exercise you can do for emotional regulation, you see, if someone is got trauma that's stored in the body, but they're angry or they get annoyed, they get irritated, you have to first work to release the anger before you can work to release the trauma. So a really simple exercise is known as tantrum release. So there's a collarbone is over here. Find just under the collarbone and gently tap. And this time, as I breathe in and out, I'm going to make a really loud noise like, oh, like this, as if releasing any anger, irritation, or negativity. So breathe in. Ah. Coughing is okay. That's the lungs rebalancing themselves. Yawning is also okay. That's the sleep trying to say, hey, thank you for some oxygen. Now, if any of you have stored trauma, I recommend this exercise 5 times a day. 5 times a day, if there's any stored trauma, before working on releasing the stored trauma. Now, one of the other reasons you can't get to the stored trauma yet is the lymph and the lymphatics. Where if the lymph and the lymphatics is clogged up, it will prevent you from releasing trauma. Now, one of the areas where we have lymph nodes is here in the armpit. And one of the simple exercises you can do is just have a massage around the armpit. This is a really good exercise to also do in the shower, by the way, as a daily practice. And you just kind of massage around the armpit, and this helps to drain your lymph. Now, when I teach working with lymphatics for trauma release, I begin with the feet and I work up, by the way, up the body, because lymph needs movement and activity to actually cleanse itself. And walking is one of the best exercises you can do to actually shift and move the lymph, or bouncing exercises, which is another one that I use to release trauma, or shifting the weight exercises, pendulation. Do the other side. Now, the other way you can release the lymphatics is actually here, over here, by the flare of the nose. Just very gentle, breathe in and out. Fabulous. For those who are new to the lymph, let me just show you the lymph. It's like these green lines. That's the lymph. These are the lymph. And you see these circles here? These are the lymph nodules or lymph nodes. And certain parts of the body have more lymph nodes. So there's lymph nodes here around the neck area. There's lymph nodes here around the clavicle, around here, clavicle area. And so these are the lymph nodes. Now, once you do nervous system regulation, and then you do some emotional regulation and some lymphatic drainage, then you can start to work on releasing the trauma. And the best exercise I would recommend, again, is the tantrum release, to start releasing the trauma. And then you can move to shaking, or something known as circular breathing. With circular breathing, what I teach is breathing in through the mouth and breathing out through the mouth. I can't teach it over here right now because it wouldn't be right for me to do that. Because when I teach circular breathing, I've kind of worked with people for at least a week before I get to that stage, because there can be a reaction that happens if it's not done in proper conditions. But essentially, it's breathing in through the mouth and breathing out through the mouth. And the reason we breathe in through the mouth and out through the mouth is if there's trauma that's stored anywhere in the body, it allows those pockets of trauma to come out and be released from the body. Okay. The second, and let me share with you, again, this is our student, Anita. She's based not in Bangkok, but in Hong Kong. And what she found was, with energy flow, her energy, her sleep, and her digestion improved. And she was also able to understand how to implement these exercises in her life. This is Stephanie, who's based out of Sri Lanka. And what she discovered was, from trauma to trusting in divine guidance, where through working with the body, she found her true life's calling and life's purpose. And her sister is actually an energy flow facilitator in Qatar, where she shares this work with children in schools, and she also shares it with corporate professionals as well, to help them regulate their emotions as well as release any kind of stress that's going on for them. So 3 is Rewire, by harmonizing the meridians. So what are meridians? So meridians are energy pathways in the body. They're invisible pathways that carry vital energy throughout the body. There are 12 main meridians, and each is associated with a specific organ and bodily function. Disruptions or blockages in the meridians can lead to imbalances, excuse me, and discomfort. So why is meridian regulation important? It helps in balancing and adjusting the flow of energy, aims to restore health. It can also treat illness as well. I mean, meridian regulation is grounded in Chinese medicine, is grounded in Japanese medicine. I mean, acupuncture is one of the oldest medical techniques in the world, by the way. It's been around before Christ. That means over 4,000 years. People knew about meridians and mama points and acupuncture, but not everybody likes needles. And so in energy flow, I share with you how can you still get the benefit of meridian therapy, but not using needles. A disruption in the energy flow can cause imbalance or disease and achieved by stimulating specific points in the body, and it helps to restore harmony and optimal functioning of the body. So some of the benefits are restoring balance, promoting physical and mental well-being, enhances the body's natural abilities, improves circulation, reduces inflammation, helps alleviate pain and discomfort, reduce stress and anxiety, boost immune function, support mental clarity, and overall body flexibility and mobility. And in fact, let me share one of the exercises with you right now to boost the immune system. So you have a part of the body here known as the thymus or the breastbone. Make a gentle fist with your hand, and if you find that kind of bony area, gently tap in this area while making an R sound. So you breathe in. Ah, this right now is boosting your immune cells and your white blood cells in your body. Very good. Excellent. Well done. You just boosted your immune system. So I want to go through the 12 primary meridians. There's the lung meridian, which, for example, starts here and then goes out and by the thumb. Now, whilst the lung meridian is also connected with the lungs, energizing the lung function has a benefit beyond the lungs. It has a benefit beyond the lungs. If you're feeling like claustrophobic emotionally, the lung meridian is a really good meridian to work with. If you're feeling caged in, it's a really good meridian to work with, because the lung is also about expansion. So let me share an exercise with all of you right now that's connected with the lung meridian. Place your fingers over here. This is good for expansion. We're in 2026 right now. And this is a really good one if you want to open to possibilities. So breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Very good. The next meridian is the large intestine meridian. Now, the large intestine meridian starts at the fingers and it ends up here at the flare of the nostril, okay? And so whilst it's called the large intestine meridian, many times if people have sinus issues, it's connected with the large intestine, so they can also have digestive issues at the same time. And so just gently massaging here can be very relieving for people that have challenges with the large intestine. Now, the next is the stomach meridian. Now, the stomach meridian is also associated with the emotion of upsetness. It begins under the eyes. And so if you've got digestive issues, what you would do is cross over and breathe. Particularly if you've got issues around stomach digestive health, where you're getting acidity. Your enzymes aren't working well in your stomach. This is to do with the stomach. Just hold and breathe. The reason you cross over is because the stomach meridian begins here, but it goes all the way down to the toes. So it crosses over energetically in the body. That's why we are crossing over our hands right now. So it goes all the way down to the toes. Now you can also do it like this. You don't have to cross over. For some people, this can get really intense. You can also do it like this as well. This is also good for emotional upsetness. See, what I love about meridian work, sometimes the people I work with, they don't want to relive what happened in the past. You can just nod for me if you know what I'm talking about. And so doing this kind of work bypasses reliving the memory, bypasses all the talk about it, where you can kind of shortcut and short circuit by directly going into the meridians, the meridian channels, and starting to get them to release anything that's blocked in there, where emotions can get held in the meridian channels. You can keep holding while I explain the next. The next is the stomach, the spleen meridian. The spleen meridian begins at the big toe and it ends up over here. It's actually a little bit lower than the armpit. Can you see that over here? It ends up over here and here. And you can just hold these points and just breathe. This is great for exhaustion or tiredness. This is also good for the adrenals if your cortisol levels are elevated. Your adrenal glands are in this area just below. And you can keep holding if you want. You can even cross over while I explain the next one and just breathe. This helps. We're doing a full body clear out right now. Fifth is the heart meridian. Now, the heart is a very, very special meridian. It's the only meridian you only go in one direction. All the other meridians, you can go in a reverse direction too and clean them. But you don't do this with the heart meridian. Heart meridian, only one direction. The heart meridian ends in the little finger and it begins from the armpit and it goes down the little finger to the little finger, basically. Now, what you can do with the heart is do something known as the little finger pinch. If you're feeling a little bit dizzy or your blood pressure is a little bit off, of course, please go to a medical doctor, number one, most important. I was with someone who was going through a heart attack and I just got him to pinch his little finger and it just helped him buy some time, basically, where it was just working directly with the meridians while we were waiting for the paramedics to come. So the heart pinch, just remember that you can do that to support yourself. And you have to pinch quite hard in. Huh? It's a little painful, little painful. So that's the heart. The next is the small intestine. So small intestine also begins in the fingers, but it also goes up the shoulders here and here. So many times if someone comes to me and says, I've got a frozen shoulder, many times it's to do with the small intestine. It can also be because of the triple warmer, but it can also be because of the small intestine. So just go ahead and massage here and notice, is it tender or is it okay for you? You are right now working with the small intestine and you're helping release anything that you're holding on to at the level of the shoulder and the shoulder blades. Now, this area in Japanese medicine is also known as the 10, by the way, the 10. And they're points for breath and breathing. They're also points for letting go as well, expansion and letting go. So, you know, if you've got shoulder issues, do you know what that means emotionally? You've got constricted. You've got constricted. So you have to come back to openness, to come back to breath. You have to come back to opening up all of life. Do you see how this shoulder mobilization exercise is going to open the shoulders, but it's also opening you up to possibilities and it's helping you. It's helping the small intestine, but it's also helping something known as the pericardium as well. The next is the bladder. So like I shared with you, the bladder begins here and it ends at, here, and it ends at the little toe. You can even just hold the bladder meridian like this. The bladder meridian is the one associated with emotional release. Emotional release. See, what I love about these exercises is you're rewiring without understanding, having to cognitively understand what's going on, the root cause, where is what stored. You can just rewire. And just hold and breathe. Now, the other exercise for the bladder is just sit on your hands. Just put your hands under your bum and just sit on them because you've got the bladder meridians that go around the bum area. So this is brilliant for water retention. Brilliant, not to have water retention, to release water retention. This is really, really good to release water retention, basically. The next is the kidney meridian. Now, the kidney meridian begins at the soles of the feet and it ends just underneath the collarbone over here, where you can gently tap like this to stimulate the kidney meridian. Now, the kidney meridian is associated with the emotional fear. The emotional fear. But this point is also used for grief. And the reason this point is also used for grief, fear is also connected to grief, number one, because there can be fear around grieving. There can be fear around loss. There can be fear around what's going to happen in my life now that I've had this loss happen. The second reason to stimulate the kidney meridians for grief is the kidney meridian is the meridian that is associated with life force or energy in the body, but not just physical energy, pranic energy, universal energy. And so by stimulating the kidney meridian, you actually have access to universal energy to help metabolize grief. You need energy to metabolize grief. If you don't have energy to metabolize grief, the person can go into depression. You can just nod for me if you've ever had any clients where that's happened or any experiences there in grief. But there's depression there because they don't have enough energy. They're not accessing enough life force to metabolize that. Make sure you're drinking lots of water. Please drink more water than normal today because we're doing a lot of energy work. Number 9 is the pericardium. So what is the pericardium? It's the layer around the heart, basically, and it's responsible for circulation. It's responsible for circulation as well. And the pericardium is also associated with, in Japanese medicine, the anger finger. So you can just hold the middle finger and breathe. Because when you get angry, is it easy to be in circulation harmony? This helps to restore balance and circulation of life. And you can do the other finger as well. Very well done. Beautiful. Thank you for doing these together. I really appreciate it. You can keep holding. Number 10 is the triple warmer. Like I shared with you, the triple warmer is connected to the points here in between these two fingers, and it goes up and it goes around the ear and it kind of stops over here at the temple. And so one of the things you can do to stimulate the triple warmer is just to tap here very gently or to hold and breathe. If you have tension headaches, it's connected to the triple warmer, by the way. So hold this and breathe. Don't wait for a tension headache, but do this every day. Very good. Excellent. Well done. Very good. Excellent. Thank you. Number 11 is the gallbladder. And the gallbladder is like a ignored organ sometimes, but it's a really powerful organ that connects with the liver as well. And it begins over here, goes up, goes around the ear, goes down, and then goes all the way down the body to the toes, basically. And so one of the things you can do with a gallbladder is something known as a gallbladder rub. So place your fingers in a circular motion around the ears like this. And this really helps to, this is good for migraines as well, migraine headaches, but digestion migraines, not tension migraines, digestion migraines. This is very good for the digestive system. This is also good for the emotion of anger. Clearly not good for your hair and your hairstyling. Please don't do this before that special festive party you're going to. Okay. Let me organize my hair a little bit. How many of you feeling tingling right now here, having done that? Tingling here in your head. Yeah. So this helps with the digestion and the gut health as well. And finally is the liver. Now, the liver begins at the big toe and it ends up here just underneath the breast area. So you can just hold like this here. You see? Just hold. So just with my keyboard. Here, you can just hold like this and breathe. And if you find yourself getting suddenly angry or anger is arising, you can just hold underneath the breast and you can just breathe even when you're sleeping. Some of you might feel sleepy right now. This is a really good one to do at night before going to sleep. This is because, you see, you need to sleep definitely at 1 a.m. for the liver to clean itself. You need that 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. sleep for the liver and the liver to clean itself. Sometimes tears can also arise when we do these holds, and that's okay, because that's you, that's your body saying, I'm connected to you. You are connected to me. I'm releasing now what you no longer need. It's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Worth celebrating. Lovely. And let me share a case of one of our students in India. Her name is Kruti. And she found ease, through these simple somatic practices where she used them to help get herself in a ventral or relaxed state. And she felt more connected to her body. But Kruti has also shared this as well, because I interviewed her when she became certified. It helped lower her acidity. It helped with her sinuses and reduce, the inflammation in her sinuses, and with her digestive health as well. And so now she teaches 3 times a week energy flow classes for people who just want to spend 20, 40 minutes doing energy flow exercises together. This is Haim Jyoti, who's also on this call. And in a moment, I'll bring her in so you can learn from her directly. So she shared that she found pain-free life. Since using energy flow, she found her pain had significantly reduced. She also had some other experiences as well. Let me bring her in to share them with all of you directly. Are you there? Are you there? Hello? Is she here? Can I see her? Oh, there she is. Will you share with us? And you've been replying to everyone in the comments. Thank you so much for doing that. It's really nice of you. Will you share with all of us what your experience was like?
Yeah, so I always used to have this urinary infection. It was very, very like, even if I will not drink for water, or even if I'm using it's very like, fragile, like immediately I used to get urinary infection and also connectingly like vaginal infection. But after I started practicing the meridian practices and few of my favorite practices, like it was not like, because I was working in a school last year, And you know, like in a school, everyone used a toilet and it's very difficult. But I was so amazed to see that even if I was using that public kind of toilet, I was not getting urinary infection. It has come down slowly. It's not like that in one day it has gone, but the intensity of I was getting or frequency, though I was getting, it has come down very slowly. And now it is very, very minimum. Even though sometimes I'm outside, I'm using the outside things or whatever it has come down to a lot. And that was a big gift for me because I suffered from these two things almost like my whole life from the time I remember. So yeah, apart from my nerve pain, that was one achievement which I got from energy flow.
Wow, that's incredible. Wow, what an incredible share for all of us. Thank you so much, Hemjyoti.
Mm.
Thank you. And Hemjyoti also works as an energy flow practitioner and a facilitator as well, where she works with people professionally one-to-one and also group work as well. So let me share the fourth one with you. And the fourth one is known as resetting the body-mind communication. Because what can happen is if there is something going on in life, either there's anxiety or pain or trauma has got stuck, the connection between the body and mind has also got severed. And so there's some very simple exercises to begin with first. These are known as self-soothing exercises. So let me show it to you first, and then you can do it with me. So the first is actually to make a connection with the face, where you just gently breathe in. Place the hands on the forehead and gently breathe. As you breathe out, bring the hands down. This is a self-soothing touch. Now, some people feel comfortable doing this. Some people don't feel comfortable doing this. But if someone's had any kind of inappropriate touch, this is a very important exercise for them to remake the connection with their body mind. So breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. The other one is known as the neck flush. So this is also good for the vagus nerve because you have the vagus nerve going down the side of the neck. And it's just like this, and you can go all the way along and then here. You see, the neck is not a place we allow people to touch very often. Huh? It's usually saved for the special ones, if you know what I mean. But it's also a place where someone can be attacked as well. Yeah. And so just making a connection with your neck and letting the neck know it's okay, it's safe. It's safe now. Now, the other exercise, which is really good for the body-mind communication, for this you need a ball. If you haven't got a ball, you can get a piece of paper and you can just scrunch it up and make it into a ball. Scrunch it up and make it into a tight ball. And this exercise is known as flip the lid. And what this exercise is good for is it helps to reset that prefrontal cortex coming down over the brain, basically. And what you do is you just go from side to side with the ball. This is also good for eye movements as well, because sometimes the eyes move from place to place. And you just keep doing it. And this is very good for emotional regulation. It's very good to stimulate the vagus nerve. It's also really good to make a connection between the mind and the body. It also helps with memory and something known as neuroplasticity. Lovely, perfect. Now, the other exercise to help with the body-mind communication is the vagal toning exercise. There's something known as inner ear humming. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to stick your finger inside your ear, then breathe in through the nose and hum. And when you hum, you should feel a reverberation here and here. This is very good for anxiety and lowering anxiety. So finger in the ear, breathe in. How many of you felt stiller? Some of you would have felt stiller right now because you work directly with vagal toning. Now, this helps with the body-mind communication because it's connecting the body to the mind. Now, a little test you can do for yourself. In a moment, I'm going to get you to breathe in and to hold for 10 counts. If you can't hold for 10 counts, please don't. Please breathe out sooner. The reason I'm going to get you to hold for 10 counts so you can work out how strong your vagus system is and how strong your breathing and breath is. And it's something to work towards, but this is not a competition today. Please do as much as you're able to do. So breathe in, hold. And you can breathe out. Now, if you found it tight or hard to hold it, it's better to do 5 counts first and build up to 10 counts. Okay. Now, the next exercise you can do is we're going to breathe in and I'm going to get you to hum. And if you can hum for 10 counts, that's a strong vagal tone. So breathe in. Okay. So these are 2 exercises you can do. And the final exercise I want to share with you for resetting the body-mind communication is something known as a Stanley Rosenberg. So the way it works is in a moment, I'm going to ask you to look straight ahead. Place your hands behind your on your neck area. And as you look straight ahead, I'm going to ask you just to take a gentle breath in and out. And this time, as you breathe in, I'm going to ask you to move your eyes to one side, but keep the head straight and do it until you yawn. And just hold it in one until you feel a sigh or a yawn. Okay, I yawn. Bring the eyes to the center and have the eyes go the other side. When you have a yawn or a sigh, that means your vagus nerve has become toned. If you find it hard to do, you need to go back to doing the breathing exercises. Okay, so I have shared with you the four different pillars of what helps to go from freeze to flow. And let me share with you some experiences some of our students have had with these exercises. So the Manna's case, she gained insights into why pain, unease, and triggers arise, where she felt more connected to her body. She went on to become an energy flow practitioner, and she worked with someone with quite extreme gastric issues, where basically the medical fraternity had said they're not sure they're able to help and support. And she used energy flow, and her client got relief from the exercises she did with them. The next is Priyanka T. Gupta. She's based out of the UAE, and it helped her unlock emotional freedom with self-care, where she was able to understand how the body stores emotions and releasing them can restore energy and vitality. This is Sharon D'Souza in Qatar. So she works with children in schools, And energy flow has helped the children improve their productivity and their vitality as well. So let me see if there's any questions that you have. Are there any questions you have? We have some energy flow facilitators on this call as well. We have Lou Brannan, who facilitates energy flow classes for groups of people and has been doing this work quite a bit privately as well as with groups to help them to go from chaos to calm. So you can also connect with some of our energy flow facilitators on this call. Maybe they can say hi in the chat window if you've got questions for them, because they have a lot of experience working with people firsthand as well. Okay, a question that's come through is how about diabetes? So with diabetes, I would first want to know, is it type 1 or type 2? If it's type 1, your main is, of course, down the medical route. And what I would recommend more are exercises around nervous system regulation, exercises around body-mind communication, and exercises with the liver and the gallbladder meridian. If it's type 2, this is easier to treat using some of the exercises I've shared with you. But where I want to begin with diabetes type 2 is taking a trauma history. Taking a trauma history with diabetes, sometimes there's something known as not valuing self. So I want to be able to take a trauma history and work out what has happened in childhood and what has happened in the adult life that might be responsible for not being able to prioritize self and take care of self. The next thing with diabetes, there's a couple of different things that happen. First is on diagnosis, the shock. And so it's releasing that shock and discharging that response. The next is once there's this, yes, I have got this, what do I want to do about it? The next is, do I go down the medication route? Do I go down the self-care route? So there's some work around decision and decision making. Now, when any diagnosis happens, anger and fear can arise. So I would recommend doing some of the exercises to help release the fear and the anger. In terms of meridians, I'd want to work with the liver, the gallbladder, but also the spleen. But it depends on the person and where their symptoms are showing up most for them. Okay. What else do we have? How can you work with bipolarity? Do you mean bipolarity or did you mean a mental health label called bipolar? So I need to understand a little bit more what you meant. And if you meant bipolarity, what did you mean by that? Basically, if someone is wanting to work out what to do for a mental health condition, what's better is for you to do a full evaluation first. I wouldn't want to recommend on a call because that's quite dangerous for me to do something like that because there's so many different things involved sometimes mentally. But what you can do is some of the breathing exercises to focus on the nervous system regulation and some of the emotional exercises to focus on the emotional regulation exercises. You can absolutely do this, but I'm not, without being able to take a full history, work out what's happened, I can't give, what would be an appropriate treatment plan that can be followed. What's next is what can I do right now to help my coughing due to throat infection? Boost the immune system. Here, I would boost the immune system. I'll do the lung expansion like this. I would also do the lung energizer where you poke the whole kind of chest area to break up the congestion. Sleep. I can't get sleep because you're bunged up. I understand. Yes, because you're going through that order. I can understand that can make you physically really ill. I'm very familiar with it, having been through it myself too. So I know how stressful it can be when that happens. Okay. Now adrenals. Yeah. So you want to work with the spleen. So you can go, so it's a little bit lower down and you can cross over the hands and gently breathe in and out for the adrenals. You can also tap quite vigorously here, and you can tap quite vigorously here as well for the adrenals, under the eye and under the arm. Okay. Now let me ask all of you this. So anyone on this call that would like actually to explore energy flow a little bit more, that feels called to attend a training course that I'm doing on the 12th of July. I'm doing 2 parts. The first part is for personal development. Just check in with your heart if you feel called to explore energy flow more as a personal development, where it's a training that I run over 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. And the first part is I go into the nervous system regulation exercises, where I share close to 20 to 30 breathing exercises. Then I go into the vagal toning exercises. Then I go into the exercises for connecting with the body and mind and releasing trauma. Then I go into all the meridians, and I go into meridians one by one by one by one, where we do meridian cleansing and meridian vitalizing. And then I finally talk about pain and pain relief, where you get to learn the exercises and practice the exercises with somebody else in the breakout room as well. And for those of you who choose, you can go on to become an energy flow certified practitioner. If you want those kind of details, just put E in the chat window, and then I'll let you know how you can fill a link in to be able to come on a consultation call with my colleague. Let me share that with you right now. Now, you can attend that call either for personal development, or you can attend that call for professional certification. We have both tracks available. Okay, I'll just get my colleague to put the link in the chat window. And I'll share the dates of the training dates with you so that you know when they are. These are the training dates here. So it's 12th to the 15th of January, 19th to the 22nd of January. It's Monday to Thursday for the foundational training. This is the personal development track. And those of you who want the practitioner track after you do foundational, it's 26th to 29th January. And then we have supervision and mentoring in February for 2 weeks, where I go through different cases. And I also share with you how you take an intake for a client and what kind of treatment you would give them. So let me just share the link with you. If you would like to book a call, you'd be very welcome to book it. Let me just, here we go. Lovely. So you click on this link, and then, for example, if you want to book a call, you click on the day you're available, click on the time you're available, click next, and then you fill in your name, your email ID, where do you live, your WhatsApp number, whether you want it for personal development or you want to become certified. If you want to become certified, what are your qualifications? What's your outcome from the call? And if you're professionally working as a therapist today, how many clients are you seeing currently? So we get an idea of where you're at. Do you have the means in terms of your time and your finances to invest? Then who introduced you to us? And you can give us the number for us to be in touch with you. Okay, let me see. Did I say July by mistake? Did I? Maybe I'm talking about something else I'm going to be doing in July. I meant 12th of January. Is that okay? 12th of January. Now we're going to begin now. Any other questions for me? Ivana has a question. I have a chronic problem with constipation. I've even tried medical care, EFT, homeopathy, nothing works. Ivana, I would say I'd want you to fill in a trauma history, and I think it's worth working with one of our energy flow practitioners. If we can find out where you are based, then I think it's really good to speak to one of them. I would speak to one of those who've done our trauma reverse training as well, where they've learned how to take a trauma history and an assessment so they can work out, because what I don't want to do, Ivana, is say to you, come and do this. I need to work out first why nothing you've done so far hasn't worked. And what I don't want to do is be another person that says, hey, come and do this, it's going to help you. But I want to make sure that if you embark on this journey, it's the right journey for you. Ivana, is it okay if I share that with you? Is it okay? Now, those of you who come on the call, you can explore the conversation, but my colleague will also be really honest with you if it's right for you, if it's not right for you. Is it okay for us to be honest with you? You can give us an H in the chat window. For reducing blood pressure, Sandhya, I would say, again, I'd want to take a medical history. And if you are on any medication, I'd want to be able to be certain first, because I wouldn't want to do anything that is not helpful. But if it's high blood pressure, I recommend the long exhale. I recommend the pinch, the little finger pinch as well. If it's low blood pressure, please check your salt levels. That's really important. And the double exhale breath. Oh, is there anything I can do to help feeling happy? Yeah, let's do some laughter together. Where are you, Susie? Wave at me. Well, there she is. Susie, let's do some laughter together. It's a bit silly, this, but it's definitely going to get your oxytocin going in your body. We'll begin with structured laughter, everyone. Ha, 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 ha. Second step, fake laughter. So just third step, real laughter. Laughter is very good for the belly, by the way, as well. It helps reduce the belly and it helps the breathing going too. So I hope that helped you, Susie. I would do that as often as you can. As I said, this recording is on Facebook as well. And watch out for our email where we will let you know how you can access the recording. And we have an app, the Vitality Living College portal. You can put it on your phone. You can download it. So just watch out for that email as well. Okay, if you want to connect with me, the best thing to do is send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. We'll put those links for you right now. We also have a therapist community called Soul Space. If you want to join our Soul Space Therapies community, just put Soul on the WhatsApp group. Lovely. Let me know if you enjoy the webinar. Please, can you pop on Facebook and Vitality Living College, Instagram, pop and say hi. Pop on my timeline. Let us know what you loved about this masterclass. I have another masterclass coming up, which is on the 10th of January. It's my last one. The first 3 months of the year is called Trauma Reverse, where I talk about a system that begins with energy flow, continues on to EFT, and then continues on to inner child, questions, and then ends with something known as Trauma Reverse. It's a fully holistic program. It's a 2-year program as to how you can reverse trauma. If you would like details of that program, give Tia in the chat window, or better still, write it for us on the WhatsApp support group. Now, if you fill the form in to do an exploratory call, Yogi's going to meet with you today and tomorrow, and he will create something known as a WhatsApp group, where he'll add on that group the link for the Zoom call. And if you've got any questions, you can post your questions on there. I'll also be on that group. We'll create them today straight away, and I'll answer your questions as well. Okay, lovely. Take care. Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate you coming. We'll see you whenever we're meant to meet. Take care. Take care. Big love. Take care. Oh, I'm so glad your mind feels so much lighter. That's lovely. And your breathing feels stronger. Lovely to see you, Carol Ann. Fabulous you could come.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I had a dream so big and loud. I jumped so high. I touched
Thank you, Dr. Rangana.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you so much.
Dance with monsters.
Who was that?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.